Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with volume 18 in Hyperion's Romantic Piano Concertos series, The Big Box, which I always have sitting here, with the first 50 volumes of that, and actually some other romantic concerto stuff that wasn't technically part of this series. But oh, this is a whopper. Boy, this series went from strength to strength, didn't it? Really, I mean, so much interesting stuff. The previous one was Stephen Hough doing the Mendelssohn Concerti about as well as anybody. And this, for those of you who wanted newly discovered works, Joseph Marx's Romantisches Klavierkonzert in E major, and Wolfgang Korngold's, that's Erich Wolfgang Korngold's, Piano Concerto in C sharp for the left hand with Marc-André Hamelin. Oh, baby! And the BBC Scottish Symphony Orchestra under Osmo Vänskä. This is just hot stuff. Gorgeously recorded, fabulously played, and the music is quite the discovery. Let's start with Marx. This work has actually gotten quite a few recordings since it was rediscovered in the 1970s by Jorge Bolet, who really championed it. And it's a big 40-minute, well, in this performance, it's 36 minutes and 39 seconds, but, 36 to 40-minute romantic effusion from the first decades of the 20th century. Marx was one of those late romantic German decadence guys. He kind of sometimes sounds in his symphonic poems like Delius. His music is voluptuous and crazily overwritten. I mean, I have the score of his Herbst Symphony, and it's like 7 billion staves full of fly specks on the page. He was not the greatest melodist out there. The problem with works such as this is that they are exceptionally busy and tremendously thick and not all that melodically distinctive. It takes a certain amount of not just bravura, but charisma to put them over. And Hamelin has that. He has that in spades. He plays exceptionally well. The work is also somewhat Brahmsian, you might say, in that it's not overtly virtuosic, but it's exceptionally notey. You might say it's sort of like, Reger only nicer, less chromatically sloppy in that sense. But it's a major work. Don't get me wrong. I mean, one of the problems with pieces like this, because they are big and complex, is that you have to get to know them, and you have to get to know them in multiple performances. Well, fortunately, there's a whole slew of performances of this work now. When this came out, this was it, basically. This was in 1997. But since then, there have been a couple and a few. There was also the ASV one with Stephen Sloan and, that conducting Stephen Sloan, which is, now on Naxos. And there's another piano concerto type work he wrote, sort of like a tone poem thing, which is really fun. Really, really fun. So I actually think it's better than the Romantic Piano Concerto, but that's a whole different topic. At the moment, when this came out, it was, everyone just had an orgasm over it. It was just terrific. And it still sounds terrific. Even if I have reservations about the work itself and Marx in general as a composer of great distinctiveness, you cannot gainsay the effort that went into making the recording, the fabulousness of the whole production, and actually, even the excitement of the work. It's a fun piece of music. You just have to get used to a lot of notes. Lots and lots and lots of notes. Actually, Korngold, the coupling, also liked lots of notes, but here he's dealing left hand alone, so there are a few less than there would otherwise have been, maybe. This was one of those Paul Wittgenstein commissions, and it's very interesting because it precedes all the more famous things that came afterwards. There was the Ravel Concerto, of course, most famously of all, and the Prokofiev Fourth, and Hindemith wrote a left-hand concerto thing, and all kinds of people did left-hand concerto. Richard Strauss, remember that sucker? And Korngold beat them all to the punch, and did so fabulously well. I don't understand why this work gets so little attention. I assume it's excruciatingly difficult for the soloist, and I'm sure Wittgenstein simplified the part like crazy, because he sort of did that to everything he commissioned. He felt quite free to change whatever he wanted. He had exclusive rights to the work until 1961, which is maybe one reason why it was, sort of ignored for such a long time. But it's in one movement, 27 minutes long. It is a big sucker. It's exhausting. It's incredibly virtuosic, fabulously atmospheric, luminously scored. I think it's a much more interesting piece than the Marx, personally. But, history has not supported me in that view, I don't think. Well, maybe because the Marx is for two hands. But it's a terrific piece. And Hamelin plays the daylights out of it. And it's also gotten quite a few recordings since this one, which is really all to the good. There are many choices, but this one has held up, again, like I said, as well as it's primus inter pares at a minimum, and may just be the best available. Vänskä conducts beautifully. The orchestra plays beautifully. It's just a fantastic coupling, because both works were written about the same time in the first decades of the 20th century. So you've got quite the adventure discovering these two marvelous pieces. They make perfect disc mates. They really do. So, Volume 18 was something special. I would listen to it without further ado. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.